Hi everyone, welcome to the final World Cup video on my channel. The 2018 World Cup in Russia is now over and we have our champions, France, were the overall winners. Of my predictions, I did pick France to be the winners and that's what it turned out to be. The rest of my predictions kind of went a little bit out the window of all the shocks and turns and everything that happened in this World Cup. But I want to say that it was a great tournament overall, not just from an England point of view because they did really well in making the semi-finals and eventually finishing fourth, but there was a lot of games, there was a lot of twists and turns, there's loads of goals. I think we only had 1-0 draw in the entire tournament, which is pretty much unheard of in World Cup history. But what a great tournament it turned out to be in the end. France, I think, were worthy champions, really. They did play, they started off slow in the group games and they kind of only got a few little niggly wins, but once the knockout game started, they really kind of turned it on. And in the final, it was a great final between them and Croatia. I think overall, Croatia going into extra time in every one of the knockout games up to this point. I think that did eventually catch up with them. They put a lot of effort in the final itself, especially the first half. They were closing down France really well. And it just, I think it got to the second half. Obviously, there was a penalty incident right near the end of the first half, which is 50-50. I probably wasn't a penalty for me. It was very close to him, but it was given, and Skratsin scored, and then Croatia again were trying to chase the game. And I think if they would have got the equaliser, I think it would have changed it. But because then France went 3-1 up, I think that kind of killed their momentum and their energy levels just dropped from there. And then they got the fourth goal, and they got a lucky goal towards the end with Lloris's slight error, and Mandzukic managing to tackle him and put him in the net. But it wasn't to be. France are the winners. Like I said, probably overall sort of deserve champions. But for me, it was a great tournament. As I've said, it was probably one of the best in my memory. Probably France '98 is probably one of the better ones that kind of sits at that sort of level. There have been previous ones in the past, but I don't really remember because I wasn't alive. So this was a great tournament. There's a lot of speculation going to it. It was going to be a lot of trouble, but there wasn't. It was great. Looking at some of the individual stuff, I think Harry Kane won the Golden Boot, which is great from an English point of view. It kind of puts us on the map of the World Cup. We did have it was a sour end really after the defeat to Croatia in the semi-final, and then the third place playoff, which is a game that no one really cares about unless you're in it. England didn't play that well in that, and then were convincingly beaten by Belgium second time round again because we lost them in the group stage. But from the start of the tournament, if you would have said England would be finishing fourth in the World Cup, everyone would have been delighted. So no massive criticism on Gareth Southgate's side. Really, I kind of had my say in the previous video for the semi-finals after the Croatia game for that one. More sort of in-depth thoughts. But from the tournament as a whole, I think I would have to say maybe my game of the tournament, and there was a lot to pick from this. You had the 3-3 between Spain and Portugal, which was right near the start, which would kind of really give us a taster for what some of the games are to come. You had the Belgium game against Japan when they were 2-0 down and come back to win it. You had the Germany game against Sweden when they were 1-0 down and come back to win it. Even the Germany game against Korea, it wasn't the greatest of game, but the shock value of that, the fact that Germany went out in the group stage, and I know it's happened for some other champions, but for Germany to have it, you're going to come back with a vengeance. They generally do. Germany don't take this sort of defeat very lightly. There was countless of amazing games. Obviously, England beating Panama 6-1, which is, from a neutral point of view, probably wasn't the best, but from an English point of view, it was fantastic. It was great to see us kind of comfortably win a game that we should be comfortably winning, not trying to just scrape through and get a 1-0 win against some of these smaller teams. But for me, I think the game of the tournament is going to have to be France v Argentina in the round of 16, because this game had a bit of everything. It was end to end, some great goals in it. Di Maria's strike from outside the area was fantastic. Pavard's goal, which is going to be my goal of the tournament as well. I think the technique on that, there was a similar goal from Nacho in the Spain-Portugal game earlier when he kind of volleyed it with the outside of it curl, but I think Pavard's, it was slightly higher. The technique had to be different from a fullback as well. It was beautiful. But Di Maria's goal in this was a great game. It was a great goal as well, and there were loads. Lingard against Panama. You had Coutinho's in Brazil's opening game. You had against Switzerland. Ronaldo's free kick. Kichishev's couple of goals for him for the Russian channel. He scored some great goals as well in this tournament. I think the one against Croatia was probably his best one in their quarter-final defeat to them. But yeah, there was just so much in this World Cup. It was amazing. VAR as well. I think on the whole, VAR has worked. There have been some controversial. I don't think the thing in the final was handled very well because it seems that ages for them to even let the referee go check, and when you check, it seemed to take ages as well. It kind of killed the momentum of the game. It wasn't so bad on TV, but imagine in the stadium when you don't quite not as clear as what's going on. It seemed a bit confusing, and I still don't think it was a penalty. But there have been the majority of the calls that VAR has come into have been correct. There's been some few hiccups, but this is the first time it's really been used, so there's going to be some teething problems, there's going to be some errors still made, but I think overall it has worked, and I think it's something that, with a few tweaks and a few kind of looking at how it's implemented and making it more clear to what's going on within the stadium, from a lot of the feedback I'm seeing from other pundits and stuff, when you're in the stadium you don't really know what's going on until it kind of flashes up on the screen, but when they're checking by the ear you just have no idea, I think you're just waiting for a decision. So some few tweaks, I think we can see it work, being implemented in maybe probably Euros next time we see it really in use, maybe in the Premier League as well later down the line. It could work. I think it can work. I think this is proving that technology is evolving with football, and as much as rugby and everyone are really kind of into their technology, football's a bit different. It's more of a free-flowing game, so trying to find ways that we can introduce it to rule out some of these errors, I think is going to be good overall for the game. And then again, just the overall tournament itself, no complaints really. Every game was pretty much watchable. There was a few duds as you're going to get from this tournament. My player of the tournament, probably I would agree with what the FIFA official said. Luka Modric was probably my player of the tournament. He was outstanding. He really kind of drove that Croatia side all the way to the final, nearly got them over the line, but like I said, I think their energy levels just dropped once France got their third goal. But he really showed how much of an anchor he is for that squad, and I think now Ronaldo has now left Real Madrid to go to Juventus. I think he's got to be really sort of one of the big kingpins of Real Madrid now, to bring them forward, to keep them chasing Barcelona and competing in the Champions League. Because as much as Gareth Bale is a good player, I don't think he's got that sort of leader of a team mentality that Ronaldo has. So I think Modric is going to be that for Real Madrid next season and a few more years beyond. Now Ronaldo's gone, has got to Juventus now, isn't he? So £105 million for a 30-year-old player is crazy, but it's football. Other than that, there's not really much else to say. It was a great tournament, loved it. It's a bit of a shame that we're going to wait 8 years now for our next Summer World Cup, because the next one's in Qatar and it's in the winter. Obviously there's some controversy with that, and I've got my own thoughts with that. I'll probably talk about that another time, maybe even nearer that tournament, if we're still going with this YouTube channel, we don't know. Anyway, thanks very much for watching all my World Cup videos, as well as today. Obviously keep subscribed. I will be doing obviously some film reviews over the summer, as well as obviously as we get closer to the start of the Premier League, there'll be a Premier League predictions video on the league itself, as well as West Ham, because I've had some good signings so far, so it's going to looking pretty good for that. Anyway, thanks very much for sticking with me for the whole tournament. I'll see you next time. Bye.